The relationship between King Charles and Prince Harry has been one of the most closely watched royal stories in recent years. Every public appearance, every statement, and every royal decision has been examined for clues about where things stand between father and son. While Buckingham Palace rarely comments directly on family matters, royal observers have long believed that actions often reveal far more than words. And now, King Charles's latest move is fueling a fresh wave of speculation about Prince Harry's future within the royal family. For years, many hoped that reconciliation would eventually heal the deep divisions that emerged after Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties and relocated to the United States. Despite moments that appeared promising, the distance between the Sussexes and the rest of the royal family has remained difficult to overcome. Public interviews, memoir revelations, and ongoing media scrutiny have only added to the complexity of the situation. Yet recently, attention has shifted to a development that many royal experts believe carries significant meaning. It was not a dramatic announcement. There were no headlines declaring a major family showdown. Instead, it was a carefully observed royal decision that some see as a powerful indication of King Charles's priorities and his vision for the monarchy's future. The modern monarchy is undergoing a period of transition unlike any seen in decades. Following Queen Elizabeth II's passing, King Charles inherited not only the throne but also the enormous responsibility of guiding the institution into a new era. One of his long-standing goals has been the creation of a streamlined monarchy, an approach that emphasizes a smaller group of senior working royals carrying out official duties. This vision has increasingly become visible through royal engagements, appointments, and public appearances. The focus has centered around those who actively represent the crown on a daily basis. At the heart of that group stand Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who are widely viewed as the future of the monarchy. Alongside them are other senior royals who continue to undertake hundreds of engagements each year. Many observers believe King Charles's latest move reinforces that strategy more clearly than ever before. What makes the situation particularly noteworthy is the absence of Prince Harry from discussions about the monarchy's long-term structure. While Harry remains the king's son and retains his place in the line of succession, his role within the institution appears increasingly separate from the core group responsible for official royal duties. Royal commentators have pointed out that recent decisions suggest the palace is moving forward with plans that focus almost entirely on working members of the royal family. This approach may not be intended as a direct rejection of Harry, but it does indicate that the monarchy is adapting to a future that does not rely on his participation. For supporters of reconciliation, this reality is difficult to ignore. There was once widespread belief that Harry might eventually return to some form of royal service. Even after stepping back from official duties, some imagined a future arrangement that could allow him to support the crown while maintaining his independent life abroad. However, as time has passed, that possibility appears increasingly uncertain. King Charles's actions seem to reflect a practical approach rather than an emotional one. As monarch, he must make decisions based on what he believes will ensure stability and continuity for the institution. Personal relationships, while important, are only one part of a much larger picture. The monarchy operates according to tradition, public expectations, and constitutional responsibilities. Any long-term planning must take those factors into account. In that context, the king's recent decisions suggest that he is concentrating on those who are actively involved in royal work today, rather than those who may or may not return in the future. Some royal insiders believe this signals an important shift. Rather than keeping a place open indefinitely for Harry's possible return, the palace may be focusing on strengthening the roles of current working royals. Such a strategy would provide clarity and reduce uncertainty about the monarchy's direction. It would also align with King Charles's long-held vision of a more focused institution. Of course, this does not necessarily mean that family reconciliation is impossible. A father and son can rebuild personal ties even when their professional paths have diverged. Many royal watchers continue to hope that private healing can occur away from public attention. However, the distinction between personal reconciliation and institutional reintegration is significant. A repaired family relationship does not automatically translate into a restored royal role. In fact, recent developments suggest the palace views those issues as entirely separate matters. Harry may always remain a beloved family member, but that does not guarantee a future position within the monarchy's operational framework. This is where King Charles' latest move becomes so meaningful. The decision appears to send a message not through words, but through structure. Reflects a monarchy preparing for the years ahead with a clearly defined team. Suggests confidence in the current generation of working royals and a determination to maintain stability during a period of change. For Prince William, this strategy may be particularly important, As heir to the throne, he is expected to inherit an institution that is efficient, modern, and prepared for future challenges. Every decision made today helps shape the monarchy he will eventually lead. Some experts argue that King Charles is thinking not only about his own reign, but also about William's. By establishing clear expectations now, he may be helping ensure a smoother transition in the future. If that is indeed the case, then recent developments carry implications that extend far beyond the present moment. Meanwhile, Prince Harry continues to build a life outside royal structures. His focus has increasingly centered on charitable initiatives, media projects, family life in California. While he remains one of the world's most recognizable public figures, day-to-day activities are very different from those of working royals in the United Kingdom. That contrast has become increasingly pronounced over time. The longer the two worlds remain separate, the harder it becomes to imagine them merging again. Every year creates new routines, new responsibilities, and new priorities. What may once have seemed like a temporary arrangement now appears to many observers as a permanent reality. And yet, despite all of this, one crucial question remains unanswered. Is King Charles quietly closing the door on Harry's royal future, or is he simply accepting a reality that has already taken shape? The answer may determine not only Harry's place in the monarchy, but also how history ultimately views one of the most dramatic royal family stories of modern times. And according to several royal analysts, there is another overlooked detail connected to the king's recent move that could reveal even more about what the future holds. That overlooked detail has become the focus of intense discussion among royal commentators because it appears to reveal not merely what King Charles is doing today, but what he expects the monarchy to look like years from now. For decades, royal planning has always involved thinking far ahead. Monarchs do not make decisions solely for the present moment. They consider how their choices will affect future generations, public confidence, and the long-term stability of the crown. This is why even seemingly small changes can carry enormous significance. In this case, many analysts believe the king's recent actions reflect a monarchy that is settling into a new reality. Rather than operating as an institution waiting for Prince Harry's return, it is functioning as though its future leadership structure has already been determined. That observation has led to an important question. If Harry were to seek a larger role within the royal family in the future, would there still be a place for him? Some experts argue that the answer becomes less clear with each passing year. The monarchy's workload is already being distributed among a relatively small group of senior working royals. Prince William and Catherine continue to shoulder major responsibilities while maintaining a strong public presence. Other senior family members also remain actively engaged in official duties, helping support the king's vision of a streamlined institution. As these roles become more established, the need for additional working royals naturally diminishes. This is not necessarily a reflection of Harry's abilities or popularity. Throughout his time as a working royal, he demonstrated an ability to connect with people and brought significant attention to charitable causes. Many of his initiatives earned praise both within Britain and internationally. However, the monarchy's future is increasingly being organized around continuity and predictability. From that perspective, palace planners may view long-term commitments from currently active royals as a more practical foundation for the institution. That practical approach appears to be at the heart of King Charles's strategy. Observers have noted that the king rarely engages in public disputes. Instead, he often allows official decisions and royal structures to speak for themselves. This has been a hallmark of his leadership style since ascending the throne. Rather than responding directly to every controversy or headline, tends to focus on the operational needs of the monarchy. As a result, many believe his latest move was less about sending a message to Harry personally and more about reinforcing a broader vision. Even if that is true, the implications remain significant. For Prince Harry, the challenge may be that time itself has become a factor. Every year spent outside the royal system creates greater separation from the institution's daily workings. Relationships evolve, priorities shift, organizational structures become more firmly established. Re-entering such an environment would likely be far more complicated than simply resuming previous duties. There is also the matter of public perception. The British public has followed the royal family through years of headlines, interviews, documentaries, and books. Opinions vary widely, but one thing is clear. The story has become deeply embedded in public consciousness. Any future change involving Harry's role would attract enormous scrutiny and debate. King Charles undoubtedly understands this reality. As monarch, must balance personal considerations with the expectations of the public and the responsibilities of the crown. Every decision carries consequences that extend far beyond family dynamics. This balancing act may explain why recent developments seem focused on clarity and stability above all else. Interestingly, Some commentators suggest that the king's actions could actually reduce pressure on family relationships. How? By separating institutional decisions from personal ones.